clearly these girls are getting it in. These girls, these girls are getting ran through.
Yes,
These girls
for
are
sure.
getting ran through en masse, and this is happening at a crazy level never before seen. Like a lot of people would be like, "Oh, women were hoes like this back in the day." No, they
No,
weren't. No, they weren't.
absolutely not.
And
There's
anybody that
some
says that is uneducated moron. Okay.
right. Yeah.
Um, how does this? How does like the frequency? Because we both dated women with high body counts, and the self destruction was just like evident, and that
Right.
it's heartbreaking to see
Yeah.
that you know the self destruction come through. And I really believe that a woman with a high body count, like anything over 20, is like you're really, really, really pushing it to like have a stable, loving relationship. I feel like this is like almost like a fucking, like a mark of leprosy. Like it's just like this person's doomed.
Yeah. Yeah. I got some important things on that. And this is what, guys who are listening here, this is what I've watched John grow to, which I'm super happy about. This is what I'm growing into also. We're elevating ourselves past manosphere dumb shit. Yeah, okay. Like we're having educated higher level discussions that are actionable, that are going to help you, because some of the stuff that's out there is not very helpful. We're gonna have an honest conversation about promiscuity, body count, some of those things, that and how it affects things. We've done this before on the channel, but I do want to make this statement. First of all, here's what we don't know. Okay. Now, as I say this does not give you guys permission to go try to wife up, the girl with all the red flags and bad behaviors. All right. A lot of guys are waiting to have the justification for making dumb decisions all the time because that it feels good at the time. Right. So don't use what I'm about to say to justify stupid decisions in your life. That said, we don't know where the number cutoff is. We know there's a correlation between relationship dissatisfaction. I'm going to break all this stuff down, but relationship dissatisfaction in general and body count. There's a correlation between anxiety, depression, mental ailments and disorders. And in one of the studies I'll show you, it shows it after the promiscuity, not before. So that was a question for a while, was, well, maybe they had these mental disorders to begin with, and then the sexual promiscuity was, to try to cope with those things. Well, in this one particular study and a couple of them that they've looked at, they've measured before and after stuff. And then, they were, and it's, asking questions, but, it's through a lot of survey and data collecting. But what they're finding is a correlation between body count and poor mental health markers.
So
So,
so wait a minute. I gotta stop. So I gotta stop the show here for a second. So you're telling me, so because I already knew this instinctively,
of
okay,
course,
but you're telling me that a woman getting ran through causes her to develop mental health problems.
yes, that's what's
Wow.
correlated there for
You know what?
sure.
I'm 37, so call me old school, but I just trust my gut was like, oh, this bitch ran through, like, God, like the attraction just plummets. It
Right.
really, really does.
Yeah,
It's
no. Now, I'm going to say though on this, like, so we know that there's, I'm going to go through all that data. We know that there are poor markers for happiness and satisfaction in long-term relationships later with promiscuous behavior when they're early on, right? There's higher correlations of mental health problems, higher correlation of attachment problems, higher correlation of infidelity, cheating, right? Higher correlation of divorce, higher correlation of breakups, and just all around not being happy and being all around a shit person to be with. Higher correlation. Okay. So, like, these people who get on there and want to act like this isn't, that's not true. And I don't understand how they can do those mental gymnastics. I'm going to share a study from 2023. So it's not like I'm looking at ancient data here. This
right.
stuff demonstrates this. And they're not even correcting, because you got to remember there's a disconnect between your average scientist, usually male, who's probably pretty blue pilled and not, like, no offense to Jordan Peterson because he has some good things to say, but like a Jordan Peterson type where he married a sweetheart, you know what I mean? They're
Yep.
really disconnected a lot of times because they're older, different generation, and very educated, but they're disconnected for what is going on with 21, 22, 23-year-old girls right now. They don't understand, like, when they stop the study at, 10 bodies or something, like, they're not even scratching the surface for a lot of these young girls now. And there's been some other data to show that, that and I've made the statement, or from other things I've seen and through just experience, what they don't want to do this study that well. When you adjust your data pool for women who are sexually marketable in the marketplace, that means you take out women with like disabilities or serious like mental things where they can't take care of themselves, stuff that would make them unmateable for the most part, right? You take that out of the pool and you look at women who are in a pool of mateable, like meaning they are out dating, they're going to try to get a guy someday, right? That's your pool. When you make that adjustment nowadays, a girl by the time she is 30 years old has gone through between 20 and 50 people, most likely. There's a few exceptions to that, but if I
Say that
have
ag
to
Can
be a
we say that
betting
number again?
man,
Can we say that number again to make
probably
clarification?
between 20 to 50 people,
By what
probably,
age?
and by about 30.
20 to
It's not that
50.
hard to figure out though. Let's just look at the day in the life. Average girl has sex for the first time at 15, you know what I mean? And so then she gets her heart broken or it's a bad experience, whatever happens. She probably hooks up a couple more times before high school's over with. That's, at least 3 bodies by the time she's done with high school, maybe 4. She goes to college. She hasn't even hit a hoe phase yet. She goes to college, hits her party years. I mean, a girl has a series of one night stands, cheats on boyfriend. In a couple of years, she can easily go through 10 bodies. Let's take, if she starts having sex at 15, and keep this in mind that girls now generally, and not all women, of course, but most women don't take a break. Like their idea of a dry spell is like maybe a couple months. Like they're not like some dudes who are like, man, like I haven't been able to get chicks to want to talk to me for the last 6 months. Like they don't know what that's like. They don't know what that's like. When they want to feel like a mateable human, valuable human being, they just go out and get laid. Like it's not hard for them. And
Get
there's no
fucked.
more shame in it, right?
Let's keep it a stack. They get out and get fucked.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Right, of course. And so let's look at that. Even if they're being modest, what's 15, divided by 20 bodies? One a year. That's not very much when you think about it. If she started at 15 and then she's 30, one body a year already puts her at 15. We know she's done more than that. So it really, just by just simple deduction in mathematics, it puts her between 20 and 50 for
Yeah,
most girls. And this is unprecedented.
yeah,
Like we have a global sexual marketplace. Prior to the global sexual marketplace, what marks that is internet and internet dating and social media. So like a girl who was born after 1990 knows her entire dating and adult life has involved the internet and a global. Now she has global access
mhm,
to what's out there for her to have sex with, right? And so she has the global access. Prior to that, you didn't have global access. So a girl could be like born in small town Iowa. She had 5 eligible bachelors. She picked the one with all the teeth and, pretty good genetics and came from a good family. She settles in with that. She's married by the time she's 18, 19, right? She's in the 19, let's say 50s or something, right? She's putting kids out there and having a family early because her hypergamous brain isn't seeing a world of options. People on the television screen or celebrities are unattainable. They're not real, right? People in the radio program before television wasn't like something that she could even judge or consider an option for her. So, like most women across the United States, across the world, had very few options. You could count them on 1 to 2 hands, and the selection wasn't that hard to make a selection. And
right.
so they're everything was geared towards relationship success and families. Plus, the economy back then was labor based,
Right.
meaning keeping a one parent working as long as we can keep that parent working was beneficial to the economy. Well, with the internet, we changed over and switched to more of a consumer based economy. I mean, never in before in history did we have a pandemic that kept everyone home and everyone ordered all of their crap online, right? It's a consumer basic, and then that drove the economy. Like, so it's a consumer based economy now. Well, what does that mean? It's more economically beneficial for you to be unhappy in your relationships. The more divorces, the more kids out of wedlock, the more problems you're having. How much more crap are you going to, buy off Amazon Prime when you're on your third divorce and you got kids with a couple different women, right? Like, and so this is where it's more economically beneficial now to not keep a family intact, even though your own happiness and well being involves long term relationship success. And that's really the wiring that we have.